An easy matchup?
Yeah, no, not really. So, I mean, they're explosive, they're twitchy, and they get the ball in space. They got a power running game, too, to go along with it, with a quarterback that's mobile. So, all the traits of a really hard offense to defend. So, it'll be a challenge for us. But there's when you played them before and you kind of, there's our kids aren't going to sit there and try to figure out what they are. Most of our guys have played against them beforehand, and we'll go at it.
How many past Texas TCU games have you watched?
Past
Like over
TCU?
the past few years? No, Texas games, Texas TCU.
Well, when I first got here, I watched the game before that, and then three beforehand.
I just wondered, did you see anything out of all these? I mean, granted, two different coaching staffs, but same end result. Was there any common thread in any of these games?
Well, I don't comment on the stuff that we were here beforehand, but I'm aware of what you're saying. I mean, but I think last year going up there and it was kind of a test for us in terms of, I mean, they pride themselves on being physical and tough and well coached, and and that's what we're working to get here. So I mean, that's whether the past is the past, it's hard to say because a lot of these guys, the Hughes and the Hagers, they're puppies,
Right.
So it's really hard to kind of say, when they showed up here last time, this is what happened. So we kind of try to stay away from it.
How did things change when Roach got hurt and probably play some lightning down this week?
Well,
so does it impact? How much does it impact?
Jeff stepped up and did some decent things. We just got to work on some of these things fundamentally. And I've talked to him about, pad level and things like that. But we got all the confidence in the world in Jeff. And then if we have to go to the Lightning World, we can go to the Lightning World. So next guy up, we're getting thin there. But, Deli's back with us, working. So he's getting some work. Joseph's Osai's getting better every practice. So we just got to continue to create depth that way. But we have options to be able to do it.
You guys obviously dialed up the pressure on the quarterback. Last week you got another freshman quarterback. This week, is he a guy? Sophomore rather. Is he a guy that you can dial up that pressure against also?
Well, it depends. You get into certain offenses where you can do some stuff, and then you get into some scheme that if you do come after somebody and they throw the ball out in the perimeter and you got to tackle these guys with less numbers because you're blitzing guys. So it's probably a little bit of give and take, But it was good to see our guys cut it loose and make some plays in the backfield. That was good to see. And I thought we did a really good job in the third quarter. We're usually, I think it was 4 3-and-outs, and then the fifth series we end up blocking the kick. And that really, really turned the momentum of the game. And I like the way we finished, too. It seems like every time at home we finish like terrible, give up a bad touchdown, and we all feel awful about ourselves even though we win the game. I like the way that we finished it, too.
But it wasn't just finishing; it was the last 3 quarters.
Yeah,
Shut them out.
Yeah, in the first quarter there was a couple plays that they weren't schematical. It's just finishing plays, whether it was a missed tackle, an opportunity to get a pick, and that part of it's still a little bit concerning to us. That when we get out in front of that big crowd, it's almost like it takes us some time to get going. And you look at us statistically in terms of the first quarter, and then you look at the third quarter coming out of halftime. It's almost like we calm down and we start playing ball. So I just kept reminding them on the sidelines, like, just play. Don't worry about what's going on out there. Just play, and just constantly telling these kids. 104,000 people show up, and it's, it can tighten you up a little bit. So just relax and go play.
But you'll get it to where you want. It'll be that every week.
Yeah, there's no doubt. There's no doubt about it. I think it just goes back to the same thing that we've talked about. When we came in here, it's just changing and making things positive. It's like, okay, we gave up a play. Let's not all panic. Okay, guys, listen. We're going to win this game. I don't care what thoughts are in the back of your head from many years ago, whatever it may be. We're not going to crumble. And that was the really good part about that game, because I'm sure that everybody in that crowd, when it was 14-7 or whatever it was, or when we gave up the first drive for a touch, here we go again. Right. And we buckled in, and we kept playing, and then we got stronger as the game went on, and it was a good win. It was one of those wins where There wasn't a sweat job. It wasn't, going all the way through it. It was a comfortable lead, and we finished through. So, hopefully that kind of experience adds a little bit more boost of confidence to our group.
Chris Boyd's interception kind of started all that.
Yeah, he did. He did a really good job because that was, a 50-50 ball that he decided he wanted more than the other kids. So, and that was really good to see Chris finish a play. He had an opportunity. We talked about this in the Maryland game, had an opportunity to finish that one. And he kind of took that personal. It was really good to see him do that. And that's what the expectation, if nobody hears from him, he's doing his job, but we expect him to finish plays if they want to throw at him.
You've been involved in the development of Chris for a while. How do you think he's taking ownership of the defense this year overall, and specifically those younger guys in the secondary?
Well, Jason Washington has done a really good job with really getting Chris to be thorough and disciplined and fundamental, and he just keeps reminding him. He's got the talent. There's no doubt about he has, in my opinion, first, second round talent. Because I've seen the guys, we had a kid when I was at Houston, Will Jackson, and Will's a little bit taller, but they're very similar. And just Chris being disciplined and Chris getting in position to finish plays. That's where the difference is. If you want to be a big-time guy, you're going to be on an island, but can you finish plays? So that's what it's good to see him do that in the game. What he's done too is because he's making plays, he's helping the younger guys. Because we have Jalen and we've got Cook and those guys that I think are going to be really, really talented guys. And they need to see somebody. You can teach all you want and coach all you want. But for a young guy to see an older guy do it the way it's being taught and to have results and have success speaks louder than we can ever speak. So he's doing a really good job leading those younger guys too.
You probably do, work on, tackling techniques all the time. When you see B.J. Foster kind of get ejected, for a hit like that.
Yeah.
What's your thought?
It's just it's safety. I mean, and it's once again I want kids like when they're 39, 40 years old to still have all their screws intact. You know what I'm saying? So we just have to learn how to play the game in a safer manner. And are things going to happen? Are those things, the Gary play and his play was a little bit off. Gary's really is the one, you look at and say, like, what can we do better? But it's just teaching. I mean, to me, these guys understand how fast and how athletic and how strong these kids are. And, the safety of the game is critical. So when they get older, they don't have any issues. So that, to me, it's like just keep teaching them, hey, your target's here. It's a strike zone right now. I mean, it's literally from here to here that they're allowing you to go at it. And we just got to learn, just because most of these kids when they were younger are all taught a certain way, but it can be changed. And to me, making that part of tackling safer for both people, for the guy that's getting hit and the guy that's hitting, is to me, as a coach, you got to take a lot of pride in making sure you're teaching the right things.
Do you have as much speed as TCU's offense? Do you feel like on defense you have as much speed you can match theirs? Well,
I think there's the majority of our spots. I think we can't run with those guys. Now whether or not the twitch and the quickness, it's to be seen. We're going to have to do a great job of tackling in space, and that's where they beat people up. And it's. Those guys they're dynamic, they're really, really, really quick. And so we have to beat them with people running to the football, and that's more important. So we're going to miss tackles, there's no doubt about it, but we got to take a lot of pride in swarming the ball carrier because it's going to be really hard for one guy to tackle these guys all day.
What was the difference between the way that the inside linebackers played in the last game compared to the first two games? Is that some of that scheme, or how much of it is those guys?
I think they took it personal. I mean, I called them out a little bit here in terms of people asking me what I thought, and I told them we need to play better because this defense runs through the two inside guys, really does, and the safeties too, I should say that. So if that collection of four players, middle linebacker, weak side linebacker, safety, if they play well, we'll play well. So it was good to The one thing about the last game was they did a really good job of controlling the run game, which makes the game a lot easier to call when like we can come out in the lightning package on, in the third quarter with 6 minute mark, which, and go play pass defense and pressure more. So that was the key to it. They did a really good job. Those two guys inside did a really good job of stopping the run game and making tackles for loss and getting people into predictable down and distances. So it's a little bit of scheme, but to me, more personal kind of pride of those two guys saying, like, we got to pick it up.
But also the DTs keeping them clean, like the defensive.
Oh, yeah,
tackle
no
and the
doubt,
offensive
no
line.
doubt about it. I mean, to me, it's like, you say it to them blue in the face. If they don't play well up front, then there's no shot of us playing. So, it's as we say around here. If Gary Johnson is the player of the week, then the three guys up front, Hager, Menahue, and Nelly, they get a piece of that too. Cut that paper into four and pass them all out. That's the way this thing runs.
What
That-
does Sean
that said-
Robinson do that maybe in previous TCU offenses that hasn't been there within a quarterback?
Well, he's very much like Hill, so I mean, there's a lot of similarities. So it's I think he's very, very confident for being a young guy. He'll extend plays. He's very fearless when he has the football. Doesn't care. He'll run it. He's athletic, but he's got good arm strength too. So to compare him to what they were, in the past, he's an athlete, and athletes at quarterback are hard to deal with because they can extend plays. Just like last year, we had them in certain situations, and we decided to do stuff on third down, and they ran out of the pocket and got first downs on us. So they're always a pain.
3 games in, where's Brickenhager?
Well, Breck's doing some of the,
The grunt work?
yeah, the grunt work. Are there some things that I'd like to see him finish? Yes, but there's nobody that's harder on himself than Brickenhager.
Right.
So it's not one of these things where we're sitting there and, Breck wants. He'd like to lead the country in sacks right now. He'd like to have 10 of them, and he's coming up a little short on. He's getting frustrated. So to me, he knows what he has to do, but he's setting up a lot of other people. He's doing, in my opinion, he's doing his job, and I think the plays will come to him. He just got to keep working.
Do you think that opposing coaches say, because you can say, let's run away from this guy?
Yeah.
Do you think there's been some of that?
I don't think so, to be honest with you, because you got a Menahue on the other side. So
Right.
it's like, I just think it's one of those things where it's like, I don't think he's pressing. I really don't. But I just think it's one of those things, when it rains, it pours, and I think it's
Right.
it's coming. Okay, he's working really hard. So I don't think it's doing stuff that's outside the scheme. Is he doing stuff that's not full speed? He is. He's doing everything. He's doing all the stuff that we ask him to do. It just hasn't happened yet, and it will be. So, but it don't have to be. We don't have to go up to him and try to motivate him.
Right.
I mean, you guys have met him before.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's really, really hard on himself, and I think the plays will come.
Was Caden's field
Time
goal
for 2
blocked?
last ones.
Was that schemed, or was there a breakdown by
Well,
USC?
that part of the actual him going through that crease and us doing a good job of kind of getting friction, but that we sent him on the scheme, but for that kid to jump over that as smooth as he did was on the athlete. So like I keep telling you guys with him, I mean, it's the sky's the limit with him. He's like, I'll give you an example is, we're like 5 minutes away from Herm bringing everybody up to talk with the team. So everybody's, you got Gary Johnson's dancing, it's, and he's over there looking at his tip sheets and his scouting report, and I go up there and literally close it on him. Let's go play ball, kid. But that's what he is, man. And I've never been around a young guy that's so mature and so professional about what he's doing. And all the things that are happening out there is a collection of not only being, a very good athlete and a good football player, but he works his tail off at it. And young guys normally don't go in there. When they have success, they normally back off and they say, oh, this is great and I'm having fun. But that kid, to me, he wants to do well, and he continues to study harder and harder. And he's really hard on himself in practice, too. Like, when he makes a mistake, he's, over there yelling at himself. So that all things that lead you to be, a great player.
What separates Gary Patterson as a defensive coach?
What separates him?
Yeah.
That, to me, when you're talking about the top guys in this profession, eliminate the head coaching stuff and just talk about him as a defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
To have the kind of success that he has, for as long as he's had it, and to have a system in place that, can have a little bit wrinkles, but just to be able to, I'm not sure how old Gary is, but to do this at a level, and I know the way that he coaches really, really hard and demanding, and to be able to do that for so long is so impressive to me. Because I look at it and say to myself, you get to a certain age, are you going to be able to just come out with that energy and that juice and that passion and have your kids, be able to play as hard as they do and as disciplined as they do. And that to me, when you're talking to like the top guys, you're talking about Gary, you're talking about like Bud Foster, you're talking about those guys, that when you can do it for over 20 to 30 years, to me you're one of the top guys out there.
What's the special challenge this week with TCU's defense?
I think up front we got to maintain blocks. They're quick and use their hands well, get off blocks, run to the ball well. And obviously you can't turn the ball over. I think those are some big keys for us. Convert third downs, we got to stay on the field.
Sam's doing a better job of not turning the ball over. What do you say? Is it a lot of decision making?
It's
Field
experience.
awareness?
It's just experience.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried to, we had these conversations last year. What were the issues last year? And we kept saying inexperience. His experience now has helped him. I think we talked about this even some last week in terms of the coaching now is very upper level, and he doesn't have to worry about what play is that and what route does he have and what's he going to do if he goes to cover two. He knows that now because he knows the offense. So now it's more on, hey, when you get this look, is this good? No. Okay, what's better? Or should you flip the protection here, and so on and so forth. And that's how he's become a better quarterback.
I think Ohio State was obviously surprised by TCU's speed. But
Yeah.
that's nothing new around this conference.
Right.
But let me ask this though: is there any noticeable difference in their speed this year than anything in the past?
They're always fast.
Right.
I mean, they recruit fast guys, and they still are, and they play hard. There's guys that are fast that don't play hard, and there's guys that are play hard that aren't fast.
Right.
These guys are both. They play hard and are fast.
Yeah.
Tim, you guys have given Joshua Moore some reps in some
Yeah.
big spots. What has he kind of shown you guys to?
Well,
merit
probably the same thing he showed you guys on that catch. Great speed, great route running, and tracks the ball really well.
What do you make of their defensive end? I'll botch his name, Banagu, or
Yeah.
what do you make of him so far?
As good a defensive end as we will see this year.
Uh-huh.
Really good, fast, athletic. Again, he's a guy, he's always around the football, dynamic pass rusher.
What was the thought on not putting Shane in the game late?
Why? I mean, what was the reasoning behind it?
Do you need to see him at all or no?
Nah, he's getting reps at practice, and Shane's, a third-year guy, second year in the system. Got a chance to see him. I'm really proud of Shane. I'm just going to tell you, and the way he works and the way he is a team player and how he helps Sam during the game. I mean, he's like another coach, and I'm really proud of him a lot.
You talked to him about redshirting?
No,
If he can?
I hadn't.
Is it a reward for him to get in?
No, it's not necessarily I don't think he would view that. I think he wants to play when the opportunity is for him to play. And like I told, Shane and Coach, and earlier when all this kind of shook down, is we're going to need him somewhere down the road. Be ready, and he has. He's worked very hard. He continues to work very hard.
What's Keontae doing?
As far as what?
Working out?
Yeah, he's been training and doing stuff with us. Yeah.
Is he ready?
I don't know. You'll have to talk to the trainers or coach. I don't know how far advanced all that is.
Yeah.
Little Jordan, touchdown run. He obviously, sheds a guy and goes. Is that what you would like to see more from your receivers? Is there maybe get a little bit more of that? Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's a combination. I think some of it's happening this year more than it has because, again, the quarterback, he's doing better. He's getting the ball out on time, so he's hitting the guys as they're open. Not every catch is a challenge. And obviously through the weight program and the off season, our guys are bigger, stronger, and faster. So they're able to step out of a tackle or break through an arm tackle or something and run away from some guys now too. So I think it's a combination of a lot of things.
On that touchdown catch, Will Jordan on Twitter made sure to shout out Colin for his block
Great block
on that corner. What has been your impression on the receivers and their downfield block?
I think it's been outstanding this year, way better than last year. I think it's a very unselfish group, and that part's been a joy because those guys work really hard and they all want the ball, right? I mean, everybody does. That's why they play the game, but they also again, through experience, they understand, like, okay, this is where I could get it. Okay, this one I'm not, so I got to make sure I do my job. What is my job on this? Is if it's to block this guy or run this guy off or clear this underneath coverage with this route because I'm probably not going to get it, but I have to do my job. There's a better understanding of that. And so that's part of the execution as well, and why we've had better success offensively, because those guys are doing that. And that's what the young guys are starting to do, as the Josh Moores, the DJs, the Brennan Eagles, and those guys. That's the difference right now between them.
What's that touchdown do for Josh?
A lot. I was really, everybody was really excited. I mean, L.J. Humphrey, all those guys were so excited. Jordan Pouncey, here's a guy, he was so excited to see Josh Moore do that because of, it's just a different team makeup this year. It really is.
Against lightning fast defenses this weekend, load the counter power and just bully them?
Well, I don't know. We got some things for him.
Coach, did you feel like your offensive line got stronger as that game went along?
Yes, I do. I think that more confidence, stronger. I thought our running backs ran hard. Those were tough yards, and nothing was easy in that game. Our tight end play. Watch Beck block their number 45. That was like a circle drill for 4 quarters. Just two guys beating each other up all day long. It was bloody.
Should Sam have given to Deshaun on that end around speed sweep in the red zone where Deshaun was all by himself when Sam started wandering around?
No, that was just decoy.
Back to the offensive line, how would you grade how Elijah has done at that position?
I thought he did really well. I was pleased with him. Derek Kerstetter played much better, had a really nice game for us. That group's continuing to grow. They're starting to get some consistency within those guys because, they're playing side by side and they're playing together now for a little bit. So, but this will be a big challenge for them. They know it. They got to come. It's going to be rated R now.
Since Deshaun started as a DB in high school, wide receiver, something new to him. Is he really getting in position now, and is he really able to do everything in this offense that the slot receivers have?
Yeah, he's starting to. It's kind of like what I alluded to earlier. The older guys right now understand the roles, they understand how the offense works, what their piece of the puzzle is based on coverage and what their job assignment is. He's still learning those things, and so it just takes time.
Will we see more of him running traditional routes as the season goes on?
Yeah, you can. That's a with us putting Josh there, you got LJ and Josh Moore and DJ. You got 3 pretty good guys in there that are splitting that time. So
with Daniel Young coughing it up a couple times, do you move guys up? Or other guys getting in line for playing time? Kirk Johnson and Tennille Carter.
We keep addressing those issues with all the backs really, and the guy that obviously is not going to turn it over is going to play. So he knows that, and you never want to turn the football over, and we just keep working those things. And there's going to be guys that will be given opportunities if those mistakes continue.
You faulted much for that? It was a punch out, wasn't it?
Nah, it doesn't matter why it came out,
Yeah.
but there was a lot of, we didn't do a good job initially on the play, which made him have to cut back and so on and so forth. It wasn't a cutback play, and so we weren't really protecting him well on the backside. It was a bounce play, and so he cut back into guys, and it was a tough gig, but he still needs to hang on the ball. I think he'd be the first one to tell you that.
What's going on in the fourth quarter?
Far as
Lack of scoring.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if our I hadn't known that fact till you just told me that, so I hadn't really given that much thought, to be honest.
Look at Sam. Overall, I think 15 and 33 thrown, but I think on third down he was like 7 and 11. Really efficient compared to the rest of the game. Is that an area that you've really seen him growing compared to last year? Does he seem a little bit more composed? And obviously, it seemed like he had good blocking on third down too. Obviously.
Yeah, no doubt. I think a few things to answer that. Number one, we knew we were gonna take some shots, so we knew it wasn't going to be a high percentage game for him. I mean, we talked to him even before that, the whole offense, about based on how they played and what our plan was. We knew that it wasn't going to be that. He has grown as a third down quarterback, and it does start up front. When those guys do the way they've been playing up front and allow him to have time back there, but he's also made good decisions. He's been able to tuck the ball a few times on third down instead of trying to force a throw in or scramble and force a throw. He's trying to eliminate sacks, bad negative yardage plays, and he's trying to run. And, you know, one of the things we addressed this offseason was it's not always making the play, it's eliminating the bad play. And that's where I think to this point he's shown a lot of signs of improvement and growing. He's doing more of that than last year.
I mean, his
Time for
six,
two last
his
ones.
6 completions on third down were all 3rd and 5 or longer.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that?
Yeah.
2 3rd and 10s, 2 3rd and 8s.
Yeah. And it's just confidence in him and what we're doing and how our guys are, you know, because we did, one of the drives, we had some penalties and still overcame. So, again, we talked about this before the season. This is a different group. They don't get rattled if it's 3rd and 10. They don't get rattled because, oh no, we had a penalty. We just keep plugging away, you know what I mean? And last year was a different group. If we were 3rd and 10, it was, oh no, we're 3rd and 10. This group's like, all right, coach, what do you want? Let's go get this one. You know, it's just a different mindset.
They blitz much?
Last one.
Who?
TCU.
So.
Yeah.
You know, at the right times, he schemes up. He schemes you up really well. I'm sure we'll see something we haven't seen yet on film.
Mhm.